Hello friends, it's Terry Wilson and I'm so excited to welcome you to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a couple of cards that I made using the Honeybee Winter Watercolor stamps, die sets, and a few other miscellaneous products that I'll share. So again, here is that Winter Watercolor large stamp set. There is a coordinating die available. So I started by using my stamp positioner and Blueprint Sketch, which is one of the distress colors. I'm a huge fan of the distressing colors. I just, I really like to play with them on watercolor paper and with stamping, and they're just really very, very versatile type of ending set. So again, I'm ending up stamping it a few times. I wanted that deep dark. I decided to do blue poinsettias. I know you normally see them in white and pink and red, but I decided to do blue ones. And again, we'll put that on a white background, then these blooms will just really, really pop. So once I had all of the blooms stamped and in the right color that I was happy with, I went ahead and pulled the coordinating dies. So again, we'll go ahead, get them all lined up there, and I am going to use a piece of tape because things always shift when I go to cut them. So there's my first two blooms. So then we'll go ahead and cut out that third bloom. So I did two of the larger blooms, and then the one is a little bit smaller, and I ended up using all three of the blooms on this particular card. So then I pulled some of the evergreen type looking pieces, and I'm stamping these in Mowed Lawn. So again, a couple of layers to get good deep color. So as you can see here, I'm re-inking and then re-stamping, which is where the stamp positioners really come in handy, don't they? So again, once I'm happy with those, then we'll go ahead and I've moved on to the next. And this is kind of a background, filler type of thing. And for this, I'm using Rustic Wilderness, also a distress color. So again, we'll go ahead and stamp a few of these, and then we'll die cut them out. So again, just kind of adding the extra layers here to get great color on them. So these are just really fun to put together in so many different ways that you can arrange these, the greenery and the blooms, and just lots of different ways that you can organize these, which is really fun in the end. You can really be creative with this particular set. There's so many different leaf type things, background leaves, and again, it's just unlimited color combinations. So this is the Honeybee Pierced Fancy Flakes die. So I ended up just, running an A2 card base through that because, again, I wanted a little bit of texture in the background, something a little bit different. So again, I pulled out that Blueprint Sketch again, and here I am just kind of going to use a blending tool and just adding some color, more concentrated in the center of this piece. And again, remember, I'm going to put the blooms in the center on top of this, so you're not gonna see a whole lot of it. It's just kind of adding a little bit of interest to the background, which I like to do. So again, there's kind of that background. I've attached it to an A2 card. And so now I'm gonna start playing with those blooms and the greenery, kind of trying to figure out where I want to put them, and again, I wanted the three blooms in the middle, and because they are pretty large blooms, you've got lots of overlap opportunity, and again, you've got the opportunity to add the greenery too, and kind of space it out so that it really is spaced out. So now I'm using the tape runner, and we'll go ahead and add all of those pieces there. Just a lot of fun with this one. Blue's one of my favorite colors. I definitely am a cool color girl. So, turning this into a bright holiday card with my favorite color was just a no-brainer. I had to do it. So again, we'll kind of add all of those blooms and the extra leaves on there. And then once I got the second one on, I wanted to pop up that last third bloom. And again, this happens to be the smallest bloom. So we're going to pop that up and then put it over there to the right. And these are the small adhesive squares that are available. So again, they work really, really well. And I always like to make sure my pieces are covered. So again, I pulled out that blueprint sketch again. And what I'm going to do here is just run it direct ink pad to paper on a piece of A2 white cardstock. And then I pulled out the Spellbinder Wonderful Winter Sentiments. This is a hot foil and die set, and I love the way that it does it all at once. You can do multiple sentiments at one time. I was really more focused on the sending the warm winter wishes sentiment. So again, I was just really focused on doing one, but you can see there I've got that blue cardstock. I've got the piece of the silver hot foil, so I'm kind of waiting, and once my machine is ready, we'll go ahead and lay those down, put the 2 top plates on, and then run it through my die cut machine. So here's the first one that I did, and as you can see, it shifted on me. So I had to go back and do another one, and this is the correct sentiment. And so next thing I'm going to do is just line that die up there and run it through my die cut machine. And there we have that sentiment. So again, I added a couple of layers and glued it there to the front. So there's card number 1. So card number 2, I decided to do a traditional red poinsettia card. So again, I'm stamping multiples, although in the end I only ended up using one of the blooms. But again, I had the cardstock there, so I just went ahead and stamped them out. I've got them left over then for another project, which is great. So again, stamping multiple times. This time I'm using Lumberjack Plaid, which is also a distress ink, so that I really like. So again, I'm die cutting them out just like I did with the blue ones. So again, you just line them up. It's very easy to line these dies up. It's real easy to figure out where they go. So the next thing I did was I pulled a craft. This time I decided to do craft cardstock. So again, I'm using Vintage Photo and that Rustic Wilderness and stamping both the evergreen and then that other kind of flower filler. So I decided to do that all around, kind of put the red bloom in the middle. And when I held it up there, I thought, oh, that's too much of a contrast. So I ended up just pulling out the Vintage Photo, and I am going to add that ink to it. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the perimeter here. So as you can see, kind of alternating the green and the brown, background blooms. So there's that flower again. And like I said, I decided I wasn't really happy with that. So I will go ahead and add Vintage Photo to it. I also decided that I needed to do some cutout leaves. So again, I pulled another piece of craft cardstock and I pulled that evergreen piece, and I'm just fitting as many of them in as I possibly can. Again, stamping them multiple times so that they're nice and dark. And once I'm done with the stamping, we'll go ahead and pull out again the die cuts and die cut them out. Love stamp sets that have coordinating dies. Wow. It just gives you so many opportunities to really be creative with your cards and just do so many different things. I mean, I could see these in a circle for a wreath. I mean, I had all kinds of ideas as I was making these 2 cards. But again, just kind of die cutting them out, working on that. And so we'll go ahead. And the next thing, as I said earlier, I wasn't happy with the whiteness of the bloom, so I went ahead and pulled that Vintage Photo out again, and I'm just using a blending tool. I wanted it to really fit with that rustic looking background. So again, in the end, I decided not to continue stamping on the background, but that's where the die cut pieces come in. So right now, before I go ahead and glue those, I want to go ahead and select a sentiment. And so this is the Heart Be Light stamp set also from Honeybee. So I'm going to go ahead. I picked a sentiment that says, "May your days be merry and bright." And so I started by stamping it with the vintage photo, and then I decided, I probably want a little more of a contrast. So I went to the Lumberjack Plaid and just stamped right over it. And again, the red overruled the brown. So now I'm going back and just adding, using the tape runner again, adding those die cut evergreen pieces on the top. It just gives the card a little more texture. I thought it was kind of cool to, again, just kind of add, more texture and more, more leaves there on the top, or more, I guess they're evergreen boughs. So then we'll go ahead and put the red one on the front. And again, here comes out those square adhesive pieces, which again are so easy to apply, and just, again, you put them on really easy to get the backing off. It just, but it adds so much more dimension to a card. It adds some shadows and some dimension. I just think is really, really cool. So once I get all the little backing things off, we'll go ahead and attach that to the front of the card. So cool. So then I decided I needed some snow splatters. So again, just grabbed some white acrylic paint, and I'm just kind of splattering away. And so there is that card. You can see the blue one there in the background. So again, here are both cards. Again, it's Terry Wilson, and I'm presenting for ScrapbookPal today. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. Have a great day.